Hi, I'm Peter Tragos, host of the Lawyer You Know podcast and YouTube channel. The saying goes, everyone hates lawyers until you need one. Well, I'm here when you need one to answer your questions and give you insight that you didn't know you needed. Along with my partners, Pete Sardis, the professor, who has a finance and business background, and George Tragos, my dad, and the consigliere, a criminal defense giant, we can answer any questions you have. What's up, everybody? We're back at it here, making content this week after a full week off for a big trial I had over in Pasco County. We will talk more about that in future videos, probably in lives where you guys can ask questions and we can kind of talk through it. It was crazy stressful. It was long. It was hard, but it was really rewarding at the end, and it was kind of a cool full story. But we'll break that down more in another video. I appreciate you guys jumping back in with me. We are here for part 5. You all wanted me to continue doing this, so I will continue doing it. This is the content that you asked for, and that's what we're here to provide. A lot of content coming this week. It's going to be fun to jump back into things head first. But without further ado, let's get to Incredibly Average and Jax, because they have more Amber Heard 2016 deposition for us. So let's get to it now and see what Miss Heard has to say this time. I haven't heard anything about it. I don't know if anything pops off or if it's crazy or what she's saying or what she's doing. So we will watch it for the first time together as per usual. Let's do it.
Here we go.
Here we go.
This marks the beginning of media number 3 in the video deposition of Amber Depp. The time is approximately 3:18 p.m. We're back on the record.
Thank you. So, Ms. Heard, we were just leaving off at when Johnny arrived, having sent him a text prior to his arrival, indicating, "Hey, baby, bring up something to drink and or a joint. I'm in if you are." When Mr. Depp arrived, did he in fact have a joint, to your knowledge?
I believe so.
Okay,
But I can't be 100% certain. I guess I shouldn't guess, huh?
Don't guess.
do you have any recollection as you sit here?
So just quick clarification. That is not what don't guess means. You can say, I think he did, or I'm pretty sure he did. You're allowed to say that in a deposition. What you shouldn't say is, I have no idea about this, but I'm just going to go ahead and say this many people were there. If you're not sure, you say you're not sure. But if you think he did have it, you can say it, because you're not going to be held to that. Because later, if they try to impeach you with it and you say, I think he had a joint, but I'm not sure, you cannot impeach somebody by saying, you said he had a joint, didn't you? If you ever hear during a trial, objection, improper impeachment, that's not what the witness said, or mischaracterization of the deposition, or whatever it may be, and a judge sees in the deposition that they said, I think so, I'm not sure, you can't impeach them with that sentence if later they say, no, actually he didn't, I corrected myself. Just for you to understand, that's not the purpose of the not guessing. We're trying to discover information during a discovery deposition, so she should answer, yes, I think he had a joint. That's a perfectly fine answer. Or she can say, I'm not sure. That's also a perfectly fine answer. But her little dance that she does with her lawyer is just to frustrate the process, in my opinion.
What happened to the joint, if he in fact had it?
No, nothing specific.
Did he
just these days he's, I don't know if I can remember a single time when he didn't have a joint in his hand when he walked in a room. I'm saying about 99% of the time.
But you have no specific memory that he had a joint with him when he arrived on April 21, 2016. Is that correct?
Can't be 100% certain.
And did he have a bottle of wine in his arms or hands?
Not quite sure.
Okay. And this text you sent him prior to his arrival, the hey baby, we'll refer to it as the hey baby text. You say that you no longer have this text because your phone was destroyed, correct?
It was destroyed that night when he threw it out of the window and it smashed, and it was never recovered.
Okay. And you said you threw his phone out, but you immediately retrieved it. Is that
His
true?
phone was protected significantly. And after he threw mine out of the window, I threw his out of the window immediately after. And his wasn't immediately recovered. It was recovered that night because
Okay.
I tracked it. We used Find My iPhone.
How quickly was it recovered, Miss Hurd?
Probably within a matter of hours max. I'd say a matter of hours.
Okay. Isn't it true, Ms. Hurd, that someone in fact stole Mr. Depp's phone from where they found it?
I'm not sure how it wound up, where it wound up, but we did track my iPhone and we could see it move, and was eventually, I tracked it down to a liquor store and asked his security guards to go and get it from this liquor store. And from what I understand, they confronted someone that was at the liquor store with his card.
Okay. And as for your phone that you say was smashed,
Never recovered.
okay, how do you know it was smashed?
Because it was thrown out of a 14th floor window.
Okay, but you never saw it smashed. Is that true?
That's true.
Okay. And after that fact, you couldn't recover any of the text messages on your phone, correct?
Exactly.
Okay.
Nothing that was localized to that device and had not been backed up.
Okay. And that would be for any text messages from April 21 through what date that you were unable to recover?
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's right. From April 21 prior to what date were you unable to recover text?
The date of the last successful backup.
And what was that?
I don't know.
Okay.
My computer, I back it up onto a computer. I sync my phone to my computer, but my computer had run out of space. And so for many months, I was unable to do back up my phone. I had no device on to which I could back it up.
In relation to these proceedings, Ms. Hurd, have you at any time made any attempt to determine what texts, in fact, sent or received prior to April 21 were recoverable?
I am not sure I understand.
So this is interesting because we know there was a lot of litigation and fighting about the phones and the metadata and the pictures and the text messages. So that's why they're trying to get to as much of this as possible. And maybe some of the fact that her phone was destroyed is the reason that some of it was not recoverable or not used. But this is why they're trying to dig into it, because again, this is the discovery process, and this is where you learn things like this.
Asking.
Have you made any efforts relating to these proceedings to determine prior to April 21, 2016, which of your texts sent or received on that device are recoverable?
It's vague and ambiguous. She doesn't have the device. Never found it.
Everything that was localized onto that device was lost.
Okay. And that is text lost from April 21, any text sent or received prior to that date, correct?
Wait, it assumes facts, not evidence. It calls for speculation. And vague and ambiguous is to the word any.
Any is actually not vague and ambiguous at all, because that should make it easier to answer if it's any.
Ms. Hurd, did you undertake any efforts relating to this case to determine for that device whether you could locate and identify any texts you sent or received that were still available prior to the date of April 21 and relating to these matters?
No, nothing. You cannot. Anything localized to this device was lost because it would have been localized to that device. Anything that was until.
So that's something interesting. Like, what does localized to this device mean? How do you know what that means? Why would you think something was localized to this device? Why was it not hooked up to the cloud or connected to any of your other devices? Those are some follow-up questions that I would ask, because she's using words like localized to this device.
Up until the latest backup.
Okay.
So when my computer ran out of
when is the latest backup? What did you back it up to? What other devices were connected to that backup? Does Verizon still have the information, or AT&T, or whoever you have?
Capacity to have a phone, to save a phone backup. I was no longer able to save the information on that phone.
When did your computer run out of capacity?
I don't know the exact date. Probably a few months before that. So I lost months of information.
Okay. Did you lose 1 month?
I'm sure it was over a month.
Did you lose 2 months?
I don't know when my computer started running out of space.
Okay. And related to these proceedings, did you make any attempt to find out when it ran out of space?
No.
And did you make any attempt to locate texts prior to April 21?
Yes.
What did you do?
I looked and saw when was the last successful back. I looked into old backups, mostly to see when I got a new cell phone, what would be the most recent backup onto that phone. So I was curious as to how dated, how old my information that was going to be put onto my new phone was going to be. I ended up having a very hard time getting a new phone established because no one on Johnny's side would give me any of our cell plan info, and I didn't know I had been added to the family plan, so I had no.
What's funny about that is a lot of people, I started to give a look like that or almost roll my eyes. But if you've ever been on somebody else's plan, I remember when I was in high school and I was on my parents' plan, it is like impossible to get a new phone or to get any information if you don't have all of the passwords and the PIN numbers and all this stuff that you need, the last four of the social security number of the person that owns the plan. So actually that jives. I can buy that if Johnny's paying for everything and he has all the passwords and PIN numbers and it's his social security number connected to that, cell phone plans are like Fort Knox sometimes, getting a new cell phone or upgrading your cell phone. So I that's believable to me. You can disagree. Feel free to disagree in the comments.
No ability to.
Let me know your experience trying to switch cell phones on somebody else's plan, or if somebody else is paying for the plan. Let me know if you agree with me.
When I finally got that information, I had no ability to activate a new phone, and so I had to get a new phone and start over from scratch.
And when you say nobody from Johnny's side would give me that cell phone info, could you tell me specifically what you attempted to do? And
I tried to activate a new phone, and I tried to do it through the carrier, AT&T, I believe it is.
Okay.
Because when you get a new phone from Apple or wherever, and forgive me, I'm not so tech savvy, but I think you have to activate a phone. You have to provide some reference to your account. I didn't even know what name the account was under.
Okay. And in those efforts to determine what you said you had curiosity about, what did you determine was the last backup that was made?
What did I have curiosity? Sorry, what did you say I had curiosity about?
You said you undertook efforts because you had curiosity as to that you wanted to determine when the last backup had been
how
made.
old?
Yes. What did you determine?
I think I don't remember exactly, but I think it was that I didn't have a backup that was recent enough to make it worth putting on my cell phone. It was better to start over.
So that makes no sense. Regardless of what your backup was, if there was a previous backup, it's always worth it to use that. She's saying she looked at the most recent backup. All that made sense. I looked at the backup. I tried to see where stuff was. I found the most recent backup, but now she's saying she's not sure when that backup was. And, it was better to start from scratch, which again, we've all done this before, right? And that's where common sense comes into jurors. And when you're listening to a client explain things, and jurors will rely on their common sense. Okay. Trust me. I know that it's literally arguments I just made during closing argument is trust your common sense. If somebody makes a nonsensical argument, you can totally dismiss that argument or dismiss that statement. And from this perspective, it's saying, so like any backup you had, any apps, any old phone numbers, like how many thousands of contacts some people have, at least some of them, the old ones will still be in there from a backup that was from a long time ago. And she's saying, oh no, it's just better to start from scratch. Maybe it is true she wanted to start from scratch because there was a lot of contacts she didn't want, or, whatever reason to start from scratch. She thought Johnny was bugging her phone, whatever she wants to say. There are legitimate reasons for that, but this one doesn't really make sense to me. Again, just to me.
As opposed to resetting. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know how these things really work. I'm doing the best I can to answer your questions.
Okay, and did you make any efforts at any time relating to these proceedings to determine if you had text messages in April of 2016, prior to the 21st, in any way relating to these matters?
Can you be more can you be more specific so I understand what you're asking me?
Did you ever at any time look for texts between April 1st and April 21 relating to these matters?
Between April 1st and April 21. So for the entire month of April?
Correct. Except for 1 week. Between April 1 and April 21.
I'm so sorry. I'm not quite sure I understand. Are you asking me if I specifically made any efforts to look for text messages that were lost prior to him throwing the phone out of the window?
I'm asking you if you have made any efforts to look for text messages that still exist so that you could produce them here.
Everything that was prior to April 21st has been lost that was localized on that phone.
And when you say localized on that phone, what do you mean, Ms. Hurd?
Boom. That's the question, because she keeps using that term. What does that mean?
I mean, on that phone and unable to be saved anywhere else because of lack of being able to back it up onto my computer to sync it.
The phone you were using.
But how do you know it was localized? Like, did you only save it there on purpose? Did you compare your phone now to what you had then? How do you know it's only localized to that phone?
April 21, was it the same phone you were using on April 1?
It might have been. I had I broke a phone previously. I don't know when the phone prior to that was broken. I've gone through a lot of phones. I have very bad luck with breaking cell phones. And because my computer was maxed out of space, it was.
She does have every electronic excuse in the book. Like, phone broke, didn't back up, computer maxed out of space, didn't look at it before, bad luck with phones.
Frustrating because I couldn't back up my phones.
And these are kind of the difficult things to prove sometimes. If somebody is lying about stuff like this in cases, it's really hard to prove it sometimes. But when you do, it really blows up in their face.
The phone you had on April 21, the same phone you had on March 1?
I don't know. I don't know if I had smashed a phone in that month. I honestly, I couldn't tell you.
Did you, in fact, produce in response to a subpoena ducis tecum text messages from March 12, 2013 here today?
Did I bring them?
Yes, did you produce them? Not whether you brought them, did you give them over to be produced today?
Well, again, if you're talking about handing things to attorneys, we've established that we're asserting the privilege on that.
Just wrong.
Will you answer my question, Ms.
If
Hurd?
the question is if it's in the stack that we gave you, you'll have to show us the stack.
Yeah, please show me I can tell you if it is.
Okay, we have asked you to review the
They're acting like they can't ask the lawyers what's there when he brought them the eve of deposition, not even the eve of deposition, the morning of deposition, knowing they couldn't even review them. So, I think that's totally an improper way to practice law, but it's tactics sometimes that lawyers use.
documents produced during the lunch hour.
She said she had lunch.
No. Let me just say, the lunch hour, which was actually 50 minutes, was a chance for her to take a break. Looking through two inches of evidence of her being abused is not exactly a break. So she wasn't inclined to use her break time for that
2 inches of evidence of her being abused is how he categorized that.
purpose. So if you would like to give her a stack to look at, she's happy to do so and answer your question.
2 more questions related to these texts. Ms. Hurd, showing you what will be marked as Respondents M. Did you ever provide this text from March 12, 2013 to be produced in these proceedings?
And if you had exchanges with counsel, we've established that that's privileged, and we would instruct you not to answer on that basis. If you gave it to some non-attorney, then that's different.
I need to give it to a non-attorney. I give it to you guys.
We'll discuss it.
Do you understand the privilege?
Not really, but.
Okay, I'm gonna move to strike that answer, clawback.
He loves a good clawback. She's like, I gave it to you guys. It's very funny, but that means it exists. That's the point. Is sometimes they have to tell a judge, if you're objecting to something does exist, but we're not going to produce it based on this objection. That's different than saying something doesn't exist, because you don't have to create certain things in discovery, but you do have to produce them if they do exist. So this seems like a way to be maybe not fully truthful in the discovery process, which is not something anybody should want in litigation.
Let's take a short break. I want to advise her of how privilege works.
That's fine. I would, yeah.
Well, I'm not going to go do legal research. I'm going to.
You should read up on it, Wasser says to the lawyer. She's like, maybe you should read up on it. That was a good little dig.
Take 3 minutes.
The other one going off the record.
So they're taking a break to discuss what they keep objecting to as far as privilege is going. You already had your opportunity to talk to your client about this. You already had your opportunity to prep the client. Communications are obviously privileged, but he's trying to also block anything that she gave them or documents that may have been produced to the lawyers, which I think stretches the privilege a little far in my opinion. But now they're going to stop, I guess, take a break and talk about it. And it's really frowned upon to stop a deposition in the middle with a question pending and talk to the witness. Most of the times we would try to block something like that. Family law is a little bit different, as you're learning as we watch this together.
The time is approximately 3:39 p.m. We're back on the record.
thank you. Ms. Hurd, did you bring with you today all of your computer devices?
No.
Okay. Did you bring with you today your any and all cell phones that you had on April 21 or May 21 of this year?
No, I did not.
Did you bring any cell phones that you had at any time in 2016 here today?
No.
Did you bring any laptop computers that you had at any time in 2016 here today?
I don't.
So it wasn't just the Johnny Depp civil case, but it was also the family law divorce case where they were having electronic issues. And this is kind of like laying the foundation for what they also asked about, I'm sure, in the defamation case.
I think so.
Did you bring any smartphones with you here today that you had during 2016?
No.
Is that no?
No.
Um,
Not that I'm aware of.
Did you bring here with you today any electronic devices of any kind that were used by you or owned by you or accessible by you to communicate with any other person by voice message, email, or text message? Did you bring any of those with you here today? Okay. I'd like to just state for the record that Ms. Hurd, through her attorneys, was served on June 24 and again on June 20th with deposition notices and subpoena duces tecum, specifically requesting the items in Section P just articulated. No objection, Ms. Hurd, for the record, was made to you producing these items by your counsel.
And that's where the difference comes in, right? That's the difference. If you don't have them, you don't have them. If they don't exist, they don't exist. But if they do exist and you have turned them over, you need to either answer or file an objection. They did not file an objection.
So I just want you to know that objection has been waived.
Well,
That's incorrect. An objection was mailed to Ms. Wasser's office. I can get you the exact date.
I never received the
No question
It's
for
a
you.
job that I
Oh.
have.
Wait for a question to be
I served an
asked.
objection.
I don't know what that means.
So there were objections that were made, written objections that were made, yes. Excuse me, I have been summoned out of the room. I'll return.
That's why you have all these lawyers, right? One of them handles the objections, I guess, to discovery.
That's not correct.
Ms. Hurd, just to make clear for the record, your counsel's position here relating to your production of these items I've identified is that anything produced in response to any deposition subpoena in this case is privileged. Are you aware of that?
Wait, Nick, don't answer. Privileged.
referring you specifically to Exhibit H. You still have that?
H, you said?
Yes, H. It's identified as a deposition notice.
So we're watching these parts of the deposition days apart, right? But imagine sitting there the same day, same time this happening. And again, she's going to take her sweet time going through these documents, which is nothing wrong with that. She should know what she's looking at, but she's going to make sure she digs in, which is why they're going to allow additional days if they would have wanted to, because she should have already reviewed this documentation, especially if it's things that her counsel produced. Or if it's documentation that her counsel already had, if it's discovery questions or whatever it may be throughout the depot.
For the start on June 24th and July 20, no objections. Correct.
These were sent, she said these were filed on June 24th, no objections. So it's been 60 days, which is almost twice as long as they have to answer them or file objections.
Have you had a chance to look at those documents?
What's the question?
Have you had a chance to look at those documents?
Which documents?
Marked as Exhibit H.
I have not read this yet.
Okay. Do you need time to look at them?
Would you like me to read it?
I just want to make sure you have it and it's what I say it is so that you don't worry that there's any trick.
Take your time and review the document.
Okay. But to make sure of what it is, or do you want me to actually read it?
Read the document. We're still on the record?
We can go off the record.
I don't
briefly.
want to go off the record. If you
Okay.
want her to read it,
Did you just ask if we were still on the record?
I just was wondering, and he said yes.
Yeah, why would you ask if you're still on the record if you don't want to go off the record? Usually that's an indication like, hey, I want to go off the record. Also, just so you know, we just had this read in our last trial where a doctor reviewed notes and the other side wanted it read in what time we went off the record and what time we came back on to show the jury how long the doctor reviewed the records. So whether you're on the record or off the record, it doesn't matter. We can still determine how long Amber Heard took to review the documents, but he seems like he thinks it's better to leave her on the record. I actually think it's worse because you never know what she's going to do on video. That could look bad or look like she's not actually reviewing them. So if you're off the record, you come back on, you can say 7 minutes or 17 minutes or whatever it is, but nobody actually watches her review them. Instead, he wants the record to stay on, I guess, which was just kind of funny. She's like, you're the one that asked. And so obviously we're on the record unless somebody goes off the record. See, like that. If I'm a judge and they're arguing that we need more time, is she even reading or is she looking at what everybody else is doing in the room? This is why it's better to go off the record, in my opinion, if you represent the witness.
May the record reflect that the petitioner is consulting with her counsel.
Yeah, once again, if the record was off, it's better, but you're not allowed to do this while things are pending.
Am I right on this?
For the record, Mr. Harder, we will likely not finish today and have to come back.
You're going to finish today. We're
If she
done.
wants to,
It's funny. I swear I haven't seen this, but you can just feel that all these delays, Amber Heard's team thinks that that's working in her favor. It's not. And if you show this to a judge is going to be like, that was unreasonable. You get more time. You were not able to ask or get the questions answered that you want to because of all the delays that they were doing. Yet again, here's another one. They should have already had an opportunity to discuss whatever they wanted to discuss in preparation for the depo. Things that have been filed in the case are not surprises. Documents that they produced are not surprises. They can't delay the depo so she reviews them in an attempt to make the depo end early or not allow them to ask questions. That's not how it works. And again, that's what Johnny Depp's lawyers are now trying to explain to Amber Heard's lawyer.
We're done today. Fine, you go ahead and say what you want, but we're done today.
We don't get 7 hours.
if
You're
we,
getting it.
So we'll see.
may I finish? We will likely not be finished today. So if you'd like the opportunity to read this document at home while we're on intermission, I'd be happy to have you do that and it can come back to that. Would you
And our-
like to do that?
No, our response is, we're going to be done today. I don't care if it's midnight that we finish, but you get 7 hours and it's going to be done today and no one's coming back.
So we have court order.
We have a court order.
Let the record reflect that petitioner and her attorney, Mr. Harder, are whispering and conversing.
That's what the video is for.
Did you have an opportunity to review Exhibit H?
She's only on page 3. There's
Why don't
more
I,
pages.
why don't I point you to page 2,
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry, page 10, paragraph P. Do you see that?
She hasn't gotten there yet.
Can you go to paragraph P of page 10? Do you see, Ms. Hurd, paragraph P?
She's not there yet. She's trying to familiarize herself with the document.
Well, she should have done that before she came today.
Exactly.
Well, she's doing it now.
It's okay. Maybe it's a privilege because it was sent to an attorney.
Take your time with this now.
Did you hear that? Maybe it was privileged because it was sent to an attorney. Like, it's a joke. That's not a real objection. It's not real privilege.
Make sure you're comfortable with what this document is, okay?
Okay, I'll move on. Ms. Hurd?
I haven't seen this ever.
Don't say.
I haven't seen this ever, she said. That's on the record as well. So her lawyers maybe aren't showing herself. Maybe that's going to create some issues there, but they are going to move on at this point. So maybe it wasn't that important what was in that document.
What do you think? Just let her ask a question.
I need this.
Cool.
That's her declaration in support of her DVR. In your declaration that you filed in support of your request for a restraining order, did you say, do you have it there so that you can refer to it?
That's what this is, right? It's Exhibit K.
Exhibit K. Did you say did you claim in paragraph 7 that after my guests had left, Johnny and I had a discussion about his absence from my birthday celebration, which deteriorated into a bad argument that started with Johnny throwing a magnum-sized bottle of champagne at the wall and a wine glass on me and the floor, both which shattered. Johnny then grabbed me by the shoulders and pushed me onto the bed, blocking the bedroom door. He then grabbed me by the hair and violently shoved me to the floor. Did you say that when you swore under penalty of perjury and signed your name to this document?
Yes.
Okay. And did you say in this same document that Johnny was screaming and threatening me, taunting me to stand up?
Yes, he did that often in fights.
Did he do that? Are you saying he did that on April 21, 2016?
Yes, it's something that had been happening a lot lately.
Did you say in your declaration that after several minutes, Johnny stormed out of the condominium, but not before tossing aside and breaking nearly everything in his path?
Yes. Are you asking me if I said that?
Yes.
Yes.
And is that the truth?
Yes.
After you say he did this, did you call the police?
No, I did not.
Did you call the police regarding these things you say happened at any time after you say they happened?
Vague and ambiguous. Compound.
Do you understand my question?
Yes.
Did you call the police? Can you answer my question?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Did I call the police on any of the other occasions or any occasion?
I'm speaking of April 21 when you make these claims.
No, I
When you
didn't.
say these things happened on April 21, at any time after April 21, did you call the police about these things you say happened on April 21?
No, I never called the police on Johnny myself.
Did you ever report to any law enforcement authority other than the police your claims that he did these things on April 21?
No, I attempted as best as I could to hide this and keep our lives as private as possible. And I did what a lot of, I guess, women do, tried to protect him.
Were you attempting to hide this when you filed this declaration on May 27, 2016?
It was unhideable because the cops had been called.
Ms. Hurd, when you claim in your declaration that the argument started with Johnny throwing a magnum-sized bottle of champagne at the wall, do you recall that event?
A lot of repetition. Again, they're trying to lock her in. Is it true? Is it false? Did you say this? Did it happen? Because it seems to me like they think they can disprove some of these very specific allegations that she made in the TRO, which again can't be defamation because it's that court document, but it still seems like they can prove that this stuff is not true. That's their goal of why they're zeroing in on this.
Yes.
Okay. Did the bottle break?
I don't know if it broke or if there was a bottle on the table next to it that broke and a wine glass next to it that broke, but there was both a wine glass and a bottle. I'm not sure which of the two it was that broke, when the one that was thrown at me but missed, or if it was the one perhaps sitting on the table nearby. But the painting behind it that rests on the wall behind where I was standing still is missing a big chunk out of it. So it made quite an impact.
Are you finished? I want to make sure if you're finished or not.
Yeah.
Okay. Did the bottle you refer to, did it ever touch your body?
No.
Did the wine glass you refer to in reference to the bottle ever touch your body?
Pieces of it did. It shattered.
Okay. Where did the pieces you say touched your body touch your body? What part of your body?
I don't remember exactly what part of my body was touched by the glass breaking upon impact. I do know that it touched my body, knees and hands. No, not my hands, my knees anyway. When I went down to the floor, some version of my legs. When I went down to the floor later in the fight, but nothing significant, not like Australia or anything.
Were there any injuries to your body at the places you claim the wine glass touched your body?
No, I don't think so.
Was there
Nothing
any
significant.
indication that you could see on your body that the wine glass shards had touched your body?
No, not that I could see, or
And-
nothing.
So she's all cut up, couldn't see it, no pictures of it. Sounds familiar.
That I remember.
At the time the wine glass...
Not that you can remember, but was this a really tragic event that gripped you and crushed you? Does she seem like she's crushed right now and just overwhelmed with, fear and sadness? This stuff matters, right? Because we can look at people. We have our own common sense. Like I said, we have our own thoughts. We have our own eyes. we can look and watch how she is presenting this testimony, which again, I think goes to the fact that, Ben Chu and Camille, when they took Johnny Depp's case, they see these depositions and they see this stuff, or they see how Amber presents in her deposition when they took the depo, and they probably are thinking, there's no way this is true. This is not how a domestic violence victim would act. It's probably what they're thinking.
Touched you as you claim it did. Was it intact or was it already broken?
I can't tell because it was, I assume it was shattered upon impact with the magnum-sized bottle of wine that was thrown. I'm assuming that's what shattered it, but at some point there was glass everywhere, and I was standing right next to it.
When you claim it touched your body, where specifically in the apartment were you standing?
I was standing in our bedroom.
Okay. And where did the bottle and glass end up in your bedroom?
Around the bed.
Okay. Did you take at any time after this happened any pictures of this shattered glass and shattered bottle?
I'm not sure if I took pictures on this occasion. Sometimes I did, and sometimes I didn't take pictures. I think after we got married, I kind of stopped being as, you're in it at that point. And
Are you finished?
yeah.
Listen to the question and
Did
answer
you-
the question.
Did you ever make any effort since that time when you say this bottle shattered and this glass shattered, and you may have taken pictures, but you're not sure if you did, to locate those pictures?
Not that I remember.
Just to be
There's
clear.
been so many pictures I've had to locate. I don't remember specific ones from which specific dates they were taken.
Was
I'm not
there debris from the bottle and glass shattering on your bedroom floor?
Yes.
Okay. And who cleaned that up, if anybody? Did you clean that up?
I can't remember.
Okay.
I can't remember if I had time to clean it up before we left that day.
It's very interesting.
Okay. Was all of the things you say that were on your bedroom floor as a result of what's this? Okay. As a result of this incident there when Rocky or Raquel Pennington was in your bed?
I imagine so, but I can't be certain.
Okay. Did she help you clean it up or clean it up to your knowledge?
I don't remember us cleaning up.
And could you describe what you saw, what was on the floor of your bedroom as you describe it, and where it was
I don't
from
know.
this incident?
I don't remember.
Was there anything in addition on the floor in addition to the broken wine bottle and a broken glass?
Wine. Wine as well, but it might have been dried up by the time I left. I don't really remember what else.
In terms of the broken glass you claim was on your bedroom floor, could you describe specifically where it was on your bedroom floor relative to your bed?
It was around my bed because the paint, and probably by the entrance of the door as well, but I'm not exactly sure. There was a lot of there was a lot of fighting and a lot of movement in several different parts of our room. So when he was holding me down on the bed and I was trying to stand up, that was by the closer to the bathroom, and I know there was broken glass there. When I tried to get out of the bedroom door and he blocked it.
It's eerily similar to stories, right? Where all this testimony, but no evidence, no photos, nobody, witnessed it or cleaned it up, things like that make these harder to believe than if she had some corroborating evidence. And this was even closer in time to when it happened than the defamation trial that just happened in 2022.
and shoved me back down to the floor by the entrance of the door, and I can't remember what else was breaking or what had been knocked over. I know the lamp broke as well. I didn't mention that. It's still in the storage closet. I just saw it the other day, and it has wine on it. I found it the other day.
Did you take pictures of that at any time?
No, not that I recall.
Did you bring that with you today?
I did not bring that with me. The lamp?
Yes.
No, I did not bring the lamp with me today.
Okay. Were you ever asked to locate any of the items that you say were damaged or broken from April 21?
Privileged. Don't answer.
Did you ever make any attempts to locate any of the items from April 21 that you say were damaged or broken?
No.
Okay. And in fact,
yes, I'm sorry. My phone. I tried to find my phone, but I never recovered it.
and in the DVRO that you filed with the court, did you attach any photographs whatsoever from the events you claim on April 21, 2016?
The court filing would speak for itself.
To your knowledge?
I don't know what we attached off the top of my head.
Okay. Do you know what you gave any other person for the April 21, relating to the April 21 event?
If it has to do with lawyers, it's privilege.
Ms. Hurd, can you tell me?
The other thing I would have said when they've taken these long breaks to explain privilege to her or explain how things work to her is I would have said, explain privilege to her, stop then telling her something is privileged or explaining it again to her in the middle of the deposition. That's what I would have asked for too, since they keep taking all these breaks to explain stuff to her. But that is coaching. That's why he keeps doing it.
Exactly what you say happened in the argument you say you had with Johnny on April 21.
What was the question exactly, if you don't mind me asking?
What happened?
She wants to hear you tell her what happened.
Vantage point about the objections and maybe there, and he can kind of give us a little bit of a intellectual feedback.
Oh, is this
on
me?
the whys on here, and just because I know
they're talking
that
about me.
before
Let's
she's
hear what
looking
they
at
say.
documents, she goes,
Yeah.
"What day would that would be like? Maybe I think it was 3.5 weeks after we didn't talk, and that was a Saturday." And she's like just trying to be like overly. Oh, look how hard I'm trying to help you guys.
Yes.
Kendra, thank you so much. When are y'all gonna get a lawyer with you on these lives? The
We
lawyer.
need to talk to him.
Yeah, we need to talk to the lawyer, because I know that after we put these out, he goes back and reacts from a legal vantage point about the objections and maybe why they're making these objections for the wrong reasons. Are they using them properly? He does a really
That's
good
exactly
job.
what we're
I
doing.
think we need to talk to him. We've got a few more
We need to do it.
rounds of this left, so maybe he'll jump on here and just kind of we can plug his channel and send people over there, and he can kind of give us a little bit of a.
They're so nice, right? Like it just makes you smile when people are so nice. So what I think would be cooler, and I'm going to reach out to them and talk about this with them, but what I think might be cooler than me sitting on one of their lives, because they have kind of a good setup in how they do this. They don't interrupt nearly as much as I do. I'm a lawyer. That's what we do. As you can see, we interrupt depositions like this, but I think it'd be cool to kind of do a video with them after or as a separate video where we can just kind of talk through their perspective and all the details and knowledge they have about everything that happened in this case. And then I can give the legal insight as to why depots are set up like this, why they object, what is privileged, what's not, go through some of the legal questions with them as well. I think that might be even more fun. I'm not sure if they do videos like that or if they just do, reactions to stuff like this, but we definitely are going to do a video together. Absolutely. We will make this happen because they are awesome and I would love to do it. My schedule just doesn't always work out with theirs. That's always the difficult part of trying to collab with other YouTubers, but we will make it happen. Absolutely.
Feedback on the whys in real time.
Yeah, that would be great.
We'll still make his videos on it too, obviously. But in real time, that'd be great. All right. Back to it. Let's boogie. All right.
I was, Johnny and I, when we made it back to our apartment, I was being cold to him. I wasn't being I wasn't being as open or friendly as I normally am. I was crushed that he missed my birthday, and this is after a month of him not coming home like 5 nights, on average 5 nights a week, just not showing up, or showing up at like 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, or at like 8 o'clock in the morning. I'd find out that he was passed out at one of the other places in West Hollywood. So it had been building up, and so the birthday incident was heartbreaking. It was my 30th birthday, and I just was sad about it. So he asked me, we got in bed, and I was just being quiet. I think I picked up my book and tried to read, and he said, what's your fucking problem? And I said, I'm just hurt. And I had been seeing this, I've been trying to get us to see a marriage counselor who said that that's how I should like word things, as opposed to being accusatory. And I said, I'm just hurt that you didn't make it to my birthday party. And then it quickly deteriorated into the normal, it's my fault. Why do you always blame me for everything? You always blame me for everything. And then it escalated, and I don't know what I said that immediately preceded it, but the first big action was the wine bottle that I remember being thrown at me, or maybe it was that I was trying to leave. I don't really remember which of the first.
Was that while you were in the bed that the wine bottle was thrown at you?
No, I was standing in the bedroom, and in front of this painting, kind of closer to the bathroom. And when I moved to leave, he shoved me at some point, shoved me down on the ground. I stood back up, and then he did this taunting thing where I guess it was to challenge me to see if I was really going to leave. You think you're really going to be the one to leave? You really think you're that tough, huh? Tough guy. And then shove me down again. I stand back up. Again, you think you're so tough. And eventually I did make it out of the bedroom. And I don't know if I was walking back from where my clothes are with an overnight bag, and I have to pass through the office because of the adjoining apartments. But in my passing him, he grabs my hair at some point. We're arguing kind of in passing as I'm walking through the office, and as I make it around the edge of the desk, it's either a shove to initiate or something with my head, push or something, and it turns into him grabbing me by the back of my hair, and I said some, comment to him. I don't remember what it was, and walked into the bedroom, grabbed my toothbrush, things like that I don't keep in my closet room. And in doing that, we had more of a fight. It was pushing. I put my hands up like this once.
Let the record reflect the witness is raising her hands above her head.
You're interrupting her. She's being videotaped. Don't interrupt her, please.
That's a good point by Amber Heard's lawyer. She's being videotaped. You don't have to say let the record reflect what she's doing. Great point by Amber's lawyer. Good lawyering, bud.
She's telling her story. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. I put my hands up, and he did this, pushed them down. I kind of like fell back a little bit onto the bed. I stood back up, and tried to walk past him to the door. At some point, I end up on the floor. He walks out. I tried to actually, even at that point, say, don't walk out. Like, maybe we just need to talk about it. Can we just take a break? And then just talk, because it's my birthday. And I don't want to wake up on my birthday. We've had a million of these fights. It's just don't I don't want to wake up on my birthday by myself. Don't.
go, please, even though it had gotten violent. This is nothing compared to so many of the other things. It actually wouldn't even be a major thing if it weren't one of the just most recent. This is not a bad thing. I mean, it wasn't bad in my head in relation to what we have lived through.
See what happened.
Sorry. It escalates. I tried to get him to stop that in that moment, and he broke a bunch of shit in the kitchen. I think he wrote on the countertop. I think that's one of the times he wrote on the countertop in Sharpie some crazy message to me. And I went upstairs. I heard him kind of coming in and out, and then when I walked downstairs, it was quiet for a really long time. When I walked back downstairs, it was just a note on the floor that said, "Happy fucking birthday."
Was there any other debris on the floor downstairs other than on the countertops in the kitchen?
I don't remember. I know he smashed. He knocked over lamps and a statue thing and paintings and he's gotten really into. He'd been punching photographs with me in them recently, and this was one of those times. But nothing that nothing downstairs specifically that I remember at this moment.
Okay. And did I hear you say you had tried to convince Johnny to stay to talk about it?
At some point in the argument, yeah.
Okay. And were you successful in getting him to stay?
No, just long enough to have it explode.
And at any
moments.
And at any time during this physical altercation you say you were having with Johnny, at any time did you push him?
Oh, and this is when the cell phones were thrown out. That's what initiated. That was the first move. Earlier I said to you, I can't remember what the first move was. That was what it was, and that was the first move.
So when you say that, you mean the way the argument actually started was that Johnny threw your cell phone out and you threw his cell phone out?
Yeah, but that's not how the argument started. The argument started from our discussion about him missing my birthday and being late or missing things a lot lately, and how important it was for me that he just simply show up,
And it would be fair to say you were very upset about that?
I was not upset. I was hurt.
And you expressed that to him?
Yes, I said I'm really hurt. I was trying to use language that I thought was different and not confrontational, and that he would swallow better, knowing that he was not in a great state and that he was drinking a lot. And so I was being very delicate, as you have to be when he's drinking.
And you did not include anything about the throwing of the cell phones out the window and the smashing of the cell phones in your declaration asking for a restraining order, correct?
Declaration speaks for itself.
Is that correct?
Yeah, I think the declaration's full of
I think I'm going to take my lawyer's answer. The declaration speaks for itself. It actually doesn't. Not in a discovery deposition. You're allowed to ask her if what is in there is true. You can ask her to re-say everything that's in there. You can ask her for the same details. It's the point of a discovery deposition is to get answers like this. You don't just provide documents and say documents speak for themselves. She's not going to answer any questions, or else we wouldn't have depositions.
facts. Pardon?
After Mr. Depp left, do you have any idea what time you believe he left?
I really don't recall what time it was.
Did you have any injuries whatsoever from this incident, this argument you say occurred?
Vague and ambiguous.
Physical injuries?
I don't think so. And nothing significant.
Did you seek any medical care of any kind related to this fight you described with Mr. Depp?
On this particular occasion?
April 21.
No.
Did you, at any time during the altercation with Mr. Depp that you describe in paragraph 7 of your declaration, Did you hit or strike Mr. Depp in any way?
When he was hitting me when I was outside of the bed, I know I was trying to put my hands up in defense of myself. I don't know if I don't know if I landed anything on him. I was trying to defend myself. He's much bigger than me.
At any time during the April 20-
I mean, the recordings that we've heard just make this seem tough.
21 incident, did you scratch Mr. Depp?
I have no idea if I don't have any idea in my acts to defend myself if I had caused him any injury. I don't think so, but I don't know.
After Mr. Depp left on early morning hours of April 22nd, you went to sleep, correct?
Yes.
And after you woke up, you packed for Coachella, is that correct?
Yes.
That's a great point we were making in the trial. Like, if you're really beat up about this, do you go to Coachella the next day? Like, it's tough.
And Coachella is a music festival you had planned to go to with your friends, correct?
Yes.
And those friends included.
I like how she tries to keep like the really serious tone and face. Like, yes, we did go to Coachella. Yes, we did. We took shrooms and threw up on the side of the road.
Raquel Pennington,
Yes.
Mel Iglesias,
Melanie.
Melanie Iglesias,
Yes.
Amanda de Cadenet,
No, she did not go.
Whitney,
Yes.
that's your sister, Io Tillett Wright,
Mm-hmm.
anyone else?
Savannah McMillan.
Savannah McMillan, anyone else?
A friend named Rami Sarabi met us there, or he was already there and met us there. But he,
And you had a driver, someone who worked for Johnny? And you?
I drove myself with Raquel and my sister, I believe. I think my sister came with us, yeah. And
Well, we know there's a video of them in the car, I think. I'm pretty sure it was the same Coachella trip.
then Starling met us there.
Starling drove from your Broadway apartment to Coachella and met you there?
I don't know where he left from, but he did meet us there.
Did he have any luggage that you had provided to him?
I'm not sure if we put the luggage in my car. His car.
Do you have any idea why Starling Jenkins was with you on this trip?
As a security guard.
Did you require security?
Johnny felt I did.
Did you feel like you required security from Johnny on this trip?
No.
Do you think you need security? Well, Johnny did. Well, so obviously you didn't need security from him, right? And let's see what she says now.
Not particularly.
Did you ever make any attempt to ask Johnny to actually come to Coachella during the time you were away?
I didn't have a cell phone. I did use my iPad for texting, but I tried to kind of put it down. I was in a very bad headspace. It was really sad.
So did you want Johnny to come or not? Because if he was that abusive to you the night before, it would make sense that you wouldn't want him to come with you. But if you did want him to come with you, now she's saying she can't remember, basically.
Was that yes, you did, or no, you didn't try to get Johnny to come to Coachella when you were there from April 22nd to whenever you returned to Los Angeles?
We did not have direct communication, no.
Did you have indirect communication encouraging him to come?
I don't know if my sister encouraged him to come. My sister was in communication with him, and I do not know the nature of their text messages. I know it was encouraging for communication. I don't know if she said, I don't know what she said to him.
Did you share during the trip or prior with your sister Whitney anything about the incident that occurred on April 21 or April 22? With Johnny.
I can't recall to what detail I told her. We fought. She knew we fought. Everybody knew we were fighting, but I don't know to what extent I spoke about it.
Did you ever make any efforts to tell your sister to rescind the invitation to Johnny?
Not that I recall.
Meaning, did you ever regret inviting Johnny? No, it sounds like you didn't. Interesting.
During your trip, you left your Broadway residence on April 22. When did you return to Los Angeles? How many days later?
I believe the following Monday. I believe.
So you were gone a little over a week?
No, I'm sorry. We were just gone for the weekend.
Okay.
So I believe the 22nd was Saturday. If anyone has a calendar, it might be helpful. I don't have one.
If April 22nd was Friday.
So then we would have come back, I think, on Monday.
Okay. So that would be April 25, 2016?
Yeah, it helps to see.
Showing you
the 24th or 25th, I think.
Yeah. Showing you what will be marked as Exhibit N. Is this a picture of you while you were on your trip with your friends in Coachella?
Yeah, I haven't seen this picture.
Look at her smile. Such a good memory.
Yeah.
Okay. And am I correct? You're smiling in that picture?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
smiling in that picture.
Okay. During the time you were away in Coachella on your trip, did you use at any time any illegal drugs?
I'm going to object on grounds of privacy.
Okay.
Did you
any
use-
other grounds you'd like to?
Did you use any illegal drugs? I'm going to object on grounds of privacy. Not a proper objection. Absolutely admissible question. She has to answer it. Here's the point, though. If you're Ms. Burke, just say, again, like I've been saying the whole time, that's fine. He objected. He did not instruct you not to answer, so answer. If he said objection, invasion of privacy or whatever, don't answer, then you can argue about it. But if he doesn't instruct her not to answer, let her answer the question.
To raise at this time? Are you instructing your client not to answer the question?
Irrelevance? Yeah, I will. Irrelevance, privacy.
Wow, that's not an appropriate way to instruct him not to answer based on irrelevance and privacy, potentially with a protective order, but this is not appropriate for that at all. They've already talked about illegal drugs that she's done, and we get to them later, as we all know from the trial. But this is how you can get sanctions and get them to come pay for a second depo when you're instructing her not to answer important questions like this, which show maybe she wasn't that beat up about it. Maybe her memory is not clear. If she was on drugs the whole weekend and things like that, you're allowed to absolutely get into that's absolutely relevant.
At any time while you were on this trip, did you drink alcohol?
We all know her team gets into Johnny's substance abuse.
I can answer that, right?
Sure.
She's like, I'm not understanding because it seems like the same question as illegal drugs if I was drinking alcohol. So I'm not really sure why I can answer this one.
I had a glass of wine.
Glass of wine
the
at
hotel.
Coachella? Is that what Coachella is about?
I did not drink at the festival. It's gross. Kind of gross wine.
Is it your testimony here today that between the time you left Los Angeles and returned to Los Angeles to go to the Coachella Festival, you had one glass of wine, as you say, at the hotel?
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know how many glasses of wine I had at the hotel.
Well, you just said one. And so, yeah, exactly. She realizes how much that doesn't make sense when it's repeated back to her. So the whole weekend of your girls going away to Coachella, you had one glass of wine. Give me a break. Come on. Come on. People, let me know in the comments. Is that true? Would anybody go to Coachella with their girls and have one glass of wine? Come on.
I don't want to commit to one number. I don't really remember how many.
Ms. Hurd, at any time while you were in Coachella, did you ever throw up or regurgitate in a parking lot?
No, I did not.
Did you ever regurgitate or throw up at any other location?
No.
I'm gonna object. I mean, it's irrelevant and it's privacy, and I just don't see the point.
Showing you what will be marked as a respondent's, N. No, M. M as in Mary was, no? Okay. Okay. Okay, so it's O? Okay. So showing you what will be marked as respondent's O. Do you recognize who's in that picture?
Take your time.
What do you ask?
Listen for the question.
Who's in the picture? That's what she
Do you
asked.
recognize that picture?
No, I've never seen this picture before.
Okay, do you recognize what that picture reflects? Any of the people that picture reflects? Who are those people?
That's my sister and my best friend.
Okay. And were they in the car with you driving to Coachella on May 22nd?
On April?
I'm sorry, April 22nd?
Yes.
So again,
Okay.
none of this was that long ago. Let's remember that for this deposition versus 6 years later.
And am I correct that you did not physically see Johnny Hurd between April 20?
Johnny Hurd?
I'm sorry, Johnny Depp between April 22nd and May 21?
I'm so sorry. Are you asking me if I did not see him?
Did you at any time see Johnny Depp in person between April 22nd and May 21?
I do not think so, no.
Okay. At any time between April 22nd and May 21, did you text Johnny Depp?
But before May 21st?
Correct.
Yes, we started texting. I think the first time we spoke was when I was on my way to Italy for work. We had a phone conversation on the way to the airport. So this was almost a month in. So it would have been right before the 21st. I'd have to look at a calendar. So it would have been right around 3.5 or 3.5. May I? Maybe I'll recognize. Let's see. To May 21st.
So now is when you stop and you say, what exactly are you looking at? And can we get a copy of that? Because if she's going to refer to something in her deposition, you as the questioning attorney have a right to a copy of it.
It's a Saturday. So I think it would
Maybe she's
have
just looking at a
been,
calendar.
like I said before, 3.5. If I guess about 3 to 3.5 weeks of no communication, and then we started communicating while I was in Italy, and he was also in Europe on tour.
And were you utilizing a telephone to communicate with him?
I'm not sure. Yes.
You bought a new phone after April 22nd?
Yeah.
And were you utilizing the same phone number?
No, not that I have now. I have had to change my number a
Okay.
few times.
What was the number you were utilizing at the time you texted Johnny Depp between April 22 and May 21?
We started communicating on my old, it would have been my old phone number that I had for a long time. I would add the same number still. I think it would be.
This is where she says her phone number.
I think would have been.
Got it that time.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's funny. I just want to touch on
BVRO declaration or before. Have you made any attempt to locate those communications where you would have texted or been texted Johnny Depp or been text or received text from Johnny Depp between April 22 and May 21?
I think this has been asked and answered. It's also vague and ambiguous.
I don't know.
At any time, did you try to find those texts that you were referring to as communications with Mr. Depp?
I don't know if I have. I don't.
When was the next time you saw Johnny Depp after he left your bedroom and apartment on April 22?
I didn't see him again until until May 21st.
Okay. And that was the day after his mother had died?
I don't know when his mother died. I was not in communication with him other than a few text messages prior where he was asking me to be there. And I was saying, here, let me know what the progress is. But
It's interesting because these are things that are easily verifiable, like when his mom died and from Johnny's phone when he sent text messages and things like that. So it's interesting that if she's preparing for a deposition, she wouldn't look at the day his mom died in relation to the TRO, which obviously is relevant to this family law case.
so we had very limited communications, and then he stopped talking to me for a few days. So it happened within, I guess, in the window surrounding May 21st, somewhere around there. I don't know when.
Did you communicate in any way in the week prior to Johnny's mother's death with Johnny about the health or condition of his mother?
Yes, although I'm unsure exact as to the exact date when she died, but I can tell you that when he came over on May 21st, his mother had passed, hence why he came over. And for the week prior to that, we spoke. We texted in a very limited fashion about his mom being sick.
And how, and at the time he arrived at the apartment on May 21, is it your testimony that you were in fact aware that his mother had died?
Yes,
Okay. And how had you learned that?
my parents.
Okay. And how did they communicate that to you?
On the phone or via text. I'm not sure which one.
And was that on May 20th or May 21?
I don't know.
Okay. And when you filed your declaration in this case, and you described what happened, did you say that at the time, referring to May 21, at the time of Johnny's arrival, my friend Elizabeth Mars was present, along with my friend Raquel Rose Pennington and her fiance Joshua Drew, who live in the adjacent apartment?
Is that in the declaration?
Mm-hmm.
What's the page and line number?
Ms. Hurd, would you like me to provide you the page and line number? I'm happy to.
Please.
You should call it.
Yes, page 2 of your declaration, paragraph 9, line 17, begins the paragraph.
If you read it and then listen to
Again, making everything more difficult and take longer.
the question.
What's your question, please?
Did you put that in your declaration that you filed asking for a domestic violence restraining order?
Yes, it is in my declaration.
Did you put in your declaration, paragraph 10, that when Johnny arrived at first, we were having a peaceful conversation in our living room talking about his mother's passing?
Yes.
Did you put in your declaration that I tried to comfort him while we sat on the couch?
Yes.
Did you put in your declaration that Johnny, he began obsessing about something that was untrue?
Yes.
Did you put in your declaration that you tried to calm Johnny down by calling one of his trusted employees?
I first said that he became obsessing about this thing that was untrue, and his demeanor changed dramatically, and he became very angry. Then, in order to try to calm him down, I tried to call one of his close employees.
Did you put the words I described in the declaration you filed?
What do you mean by that?
Did you give the words to somebody that are in this document that was filed with the court?
Privilege.
Objection.
Privilege.
No, it is not privilege. Are these your words is what she's asking. Are these your words? It is not privileged when you file the document publicly that you can see this now in the TRO, in this deposition. They have this declaration. It is not a private communication with your attorney. They are misusing and misrepresenting the attorney-client privilege all over this deposition. It's very frustrating. Are these your words in your declaration? That's what she's asking. She's not asking about any private, protected attorney-client privilege conversations.
Don't answer.
Are these words that you see in the declaration before you?
Are those words?
The words I've
Words to me.
described.
It's vague and ambiguous. It's unintelligible. The document speaks for itself. You're
No,
reading
it doesn't.
Mr. Hurd, I'm asking you to confirm if you say in your declaration that these things are true. I am asking you if those things are in fact stated in your declaration.
The declaration speaks for itself.
Those words are all in front of me.
Thank you. Are you aware that Elizabeth Mars has testified under oath that she was not there
Ooh,
at the time
look at the
of
smirk.
Johnny's arrival?
Calls for speculation.
She's
And
in the.
if you learn anything from counsel, you can't answer. If you learned it from some other fashion, then you can.
But Elizabeth was there. She was just in the connecting apartment. She was in what Elizabeth probably meant and probably did not clarify.
Just
is that
say-
she was in the apartment that connects. They're all connecting.
Tell her.
I'm trying to.
So
She was in the connecting apartment. All the apartments connect, and normally those doors are left open. And we call it the compound, and it's treated as one big space. That's why we have keys to one another's apartments, and they all connect. And Elizabeth Mars and Josh and Rocky were all there. By there, they were in their respective places, not on my lap or on the couch or in the room next door to us. But they were there.
We've been going an hour and 10 minutes. Can we
So
please take
when
a
you-
break? It's been an hour and 10
Sure.
minutes. Okay. We're going to take what, 5 to 10?
Time
Can we ask go off the record?
The time is approximately 4:28 p.m. We're going off.
All right. So that is the end of yet another part. And this part did have some interesting parts to it, especially when we talk about the electronic devices, what was smashed, what was destroyed, what's there, what's not there. But overall, it's very difficult. You can tell, even with a skilled lawyer, an experienced lawyer, to get a flow or any kind of outline or structure to this type of deposition when the witness is being very difficult. So it seems a little all over the place, but it feels like the goal is to impeach her as many different times as they can, as many different ways, with pictures, with videos, with text messages, with her declaration and for her TRO. So they're definitely trying to impeach her with other people's depositions, just like they did at the end there. Somebody else deposed, and then her lawyers are improperly trying to block certain questions. I haven't seen too many properly instruct the witness not to answer situations that they have done over and over again, but they're also trying to impeach her just with common sense, getting her to repeat and confirm that this is what you're saying, this is what you're arguing, this is what is in your TRO, even though it literally doesn't make sense at all. And that is usually a very good argument in front of a jury, especially potential jurors like you all out there. I can't tell you how much you guys helped me in my jury selection and in this jury trial I was in. Again, we'll talk about it more later, but thank you for everything you do on the channel. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit that like button and let me know in the comments if you have any questions or anything you want to let me know about this video. So thanks for being with us, and we're out of here. Thanks for watching this episode of The Lawyer You Know. If you like this content, please share it with your friends. Make sure you subscribe to our page and like our videos. If you want some interaction, get in the comments and we'll be sure to get back to you. If you want to know any more information about our firm or this page, you can find out in the description or visit tragoslaw.com. We post multiple times throughout the week, so make sure you hit that bell so you can get the notification and not miss out on the next episode.